Hello, we continue looking at examples of composite shapes and how we find their areas. Hello, okay, here we go. So what we see in front of us is example C, and this shape is made up of multiple parts. Let's label them. We have part 1, and that's a rectangle. We have part 2, and I hope you recognize we have a parallelogram. And we have part 3, which is a triangle. So we're going to pursue this problem in a step-by-step approach. Step 1, we're going to find area of a rectangle. Step 2, we're going to find area of a parallelogram. Notice how I use organized list to create our solution. Step 3, we're going to find an area of this triangle. And step 4, we're going to find the area of the total composite shape. So let's go from the top. Area of a rectangle. Step 1, we must identify the length and width. I'm just going to keep writing formulas because just to remind everybody, even though you should be remembering, we have 13.5 feet times 8 feet, and that comes to 108 feet squared. Now let's put this answer in a circle. Part 2, let's find an area of a parallelogram. That was a new concept we learned in the last video. We must identify the base, which is 9 3/4. Let's find the vertex that's opposite of the base and drop the height that is perpendicular to the base. And this height is 7 feet. Right here it says 7 feet. So let's write down the area of a parallelogram. It is base times height, which if we substitute our values, it will be 9 3/4 feet times 7 feet. And that is 39/4. I will let you calculate it. I don't have the answer sheet. Now, the area of a rectangle, triangle, the area of a triangle. Let's identify the base. We have it as 6 feet. Let's identify the vertex that is opposite of the base. And let's drop the perpendicular line with a 90-degree angle to the base, and that will be our height, which also happens to be 7 feet, right? The blue line is the same as, let me identify, this height and this height are absolutely the same, 7 feet, given in the problem, by the problem. So now what we need to do, let's write down the formula for the triangle. It's a half of base times height, and if we substitute the values, we will have half of 6 times 7. This would be 21 feet squared. Let's put that number in a circle. Now, the only thing I'm left to do is to find that mixed number. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to split 9 3/4 into 9 wholes and 3/4. It's fractional piece. 9 times 7 is 63. 3/4 times 7 gives us 21/4, which is 63 plus 5 1/4, and that is 68.25 feet squared. The third part of our solution is we have to put all these areas together. We're going to sum up 108 plus 68 plus 21, and of course 68 has a little quarter, which we'll add. 8 plus 8 is 16, so we'll have 7, one group, and 6 plus 2 and plus 1 more gives us 9. It's 197 and 1/4 feet squared. And that, my friends, is the total value of the total area of this composite shape. Notice our composite parts, our smaller parts, are different shapes that we've been working for some time. Let's take a look at example D. Oh my, look how much is going on in example D. Let's identify the first shape, and that is the right triangle. Do I have a beautiful pink pen? No, I don't have a pink pen. So step one, I'm going to write an area of this triangle, and it is half of base times height, and that translates into half of 6 times 18. 3 times 18, or 6 times 9, 9 times 6 is 54 yards squared, right? So we can write 54 right here. Now our next shape, let's take a look. Our next shape is another triangle. I hope you see this. It's this yellow triangle. So let's go ahead. Step two, notice the use of my organized list. It's very important that you write it down step by step so you don't forget any shapes. We have this triangle, and it is also 1/2 of base times height. I always write the formula first to stay organized, and that is 1/2 of 9 times 18. And 9 times half of 18 is 81 yards squared. And finally, let's consider the next shape, and that is a beautiful parallelogram. Beautiful parallelogram. And let's see the parallelogram part 3. Area, oh, I like how colorful everything is coming out. Area of a parallelogram, we just multiply base times height. Well, we do have a base, and that's 12. Let's find the vertex opposite of the base, one of the vertices. Doesn't matter which one. And let's drop the perpendicular line down to the base. Notice it is the height that's equals to 18 yards. So let's substitute. We have 12 times 18. That is the biggest number you, my friends, have to solve for. And 12 times 18 is 216. 216 square yards squared. And finally, step 4, we have to find area of the total shape. I write area total right at the bottom. So let's add 216 plus 54 plus 81, and altogether we have 351 yards squared. And that, my friends, is the total area of this composite shapes. I hope you found this lesson helpful.